Well, the New York Knicks suffered their first loss in 14 games in Game 3 of the NBA Finals last night. And many fans are blaming a certain VIP guest who didn't actually have anything to do with what happened on the court. President Trump was the first sitting president to attend an NBA Final. And as you can hear, he didn't get the warmest reception. The pool reporter with the president described the boos when he was on the Jumbotron as thunderous. But the president posted after the game that New York loves him, and here he was before heading back to Washington.
What did you think of the reception you got from the Knicks fans tonight?
I thought great. I mean, I thought it was amazing, actually. You mean when they had the camera on me? I thought it was very good, yeah. It was certainly amazing. It was, I think, mostly cheers. It was loud and it was very enthusiastic.
They are going to deliver.
Game in San Antonio?
Oh, I don't know. We're busy with a lot of important stuff right now at EPA.
Like a war.
Let's bring in sports journalist Jason Page. He's the host of Sports Wrap with Jason Page, and he's an MS Now columnist. Jason, the president certainly isn't the first politician to get blamed for a bad score at a game, but he didn't seem too bruised by the boos. But just how unusual was that reception, literally getting greeted by thunderously loud boos?
He had to know it was coming. And I think on some level he relishes it. We live in this world, we live in this WWE culture where you're either the hero or you're the heel. And I think he relishes being the heel in this situation. He knew what was coming when he came to Madison Square Garden. He had tons of people inconvenienced. He had herds of fans being shuffled around from entrance to entrance trying to get into the arena after they paid upwards of $5,000 to $6,000 to $7,000 at the low end just to get into this game. He knew what was coming, Anna. And I mean, frankly, you know, it's kind of funny to me because a couple of months back, the Mets started off the season in a terrible way. And conservatives were blaming Zoran Mamdani because he went and hugged the Mets mascot. And then the Mets lost like 14 games in a row. Fans are irrational.
Yeah.
What is fans short for? What is fans short for? Fanatics. And I mean, so fans are going to blame Donald Trump for this loss. The fact of the matter is he's not the reason they lost, but he did add to an atmosphere that I think in many ways did sort of change the dynamic in that arena last night between the Spurs and the Knicks.
But sports are supposed to bring people together, right? We hear a lot of people talk about sports being this great unifier. They shouldn't be political. Is that an argument for politicians to be in the stands or to stay away?
Well, it's just this, politician. Let's be honest about it. If Barack Obama's there last night, nobody's booing like crazy. And again, this isn't something that Barack Obama did when he was president of the United States. It isn't something that George W. Bush. It's something no president has ever done. Go to an NBA Finals game. They know to not make it about them. He's the exception, and he's been the exception in so many regards since he walked down, the golden escalator, 10 years ago, Anna.
Let's switch to another big sporting event. This Friday, Team USA has its first World Cup game, and they'll face Paraguay at Los Angeles' SoFi Stadium. But listen to this, 2,000 workers have already authorized a strike, in large part because of concerns over ICE agents at that game. What's your reaction to that?
It's not surprising. I mean, look, the fear and the cruelty is the point. But we've heard so many people say this over the years with this administration and the policies they're putting in place. It's the fear that's the point. This is the same administration that a couple of weeks ago said, you know what? If you're applying for a green card, you're going to have to leave the country. That impacted me personally. My husband's somebody who's applying to get a green card. That impacted us personally when the administration said, we're going to put a situation in place where if you're applying for a green card, you may have to go back to your country of origin. Do you know how complicated things like that, how difficult that makes for people who are trying to get a better life in this country? So the cruelty is the point and the fear is the point. And just putting that little bit of doubt, that scintilla of doubt in the minds of these workers who are just going to try and make a living at the World Cup, that's the point.
The policies are already impacting the games, though. We've already learned that a Somali referee for the World Cup was denied entry to the U.S. over vetting concerns, according to the New York Times.
Yeah.
Immigrants' rights groups have issued warnings for people traveling to the games. Trump's border czar is promising more ICE agents in New York. What do you make of the fact that the World Cup is now in the center of the immigration debate in this country?
Unfortunately, it is not surprising. They're going to use, look, this administration is going to use any touch point possible to try and drive home its overall message of, being sort of anti-immigrant. And that is, that's something that we've seen throughout this administration, not just this go around, but the last go around as well. This is going to be a World Cup unlike any other in a lot of ways. And I am fascinated to see, from an attendance standpoint, with ticket prices being what they are, from fan engagement standpoint, given the fear that is out there in the community because of ICE agents potentially being at these games. It gets started here in a couple of days, and it really is going to be fascinating to watch the dynamics at play, Anna.
Jason Page, thank you. We'll have conversation to be continued as the World Cup unfolds.